Okay, so the last part of our turtle line lesson is adding in contrast. So we talked about contrast in class and how it helps us see some differences. If you look at it right now, you can't really see a whole lot of differences in our picture, and that's where coloring in comes in. Now, I want you to use the same color as you colored in, or excuse me, drew your turtle, okay? So I'm going to take this, my marker, and I'm going to gently color in some spaces to make them darker. What this is creating more contrast or more differences between the lines that we have. So now I have thicker black lines. I'm going to do the same thing for down here. Okay. Now in here, this one doesn't have a lot of contrast, but we don't have to create contrast in every space. I am thinking for this one, I'm going to color it in as well, and then I'm going to add something else to it. So I'm going to color these ones in. And you can see I'm creating a different pattern. I'm taking what I've already done and I'm adding to it to create a new pattern. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add dots in between. So I'm going to draw some circles and fill them in between in these blank spaces. So it takes my pattern and it changes it slightly to make it have some more detail, and it looks a lot more interesting when we add contrast. Now another way we can do is we're gonna color in these ones too, because then you're gonna really see the lines that you drew and the lines that you created when you color them in. So now you can see the castle line in these shapes really, really well. Okay, and then down here, this zigzag doesn't really look that interesting. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna color in part of it. And now you can really see those zigzag lines. I think one of my pictures needs to have, or one of my patterns needs to have something changed. I think I'm going to change something in here. And I'm going to put polka dots in here too. I like polka dots, so I'm going to add some polka dots. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to stop there. With my design. Now, the last part of our lesson is creating a background for our turtle. And what our turtle needs is either a different color for the background, or our turtle needs to be cut out and put on another piece of paper. Now, I'm not sure if everybody has scissors at home, so I'm just going to tell you guys to go ahead and color in around it. I have this bright pink highlighter, and I'm gonna color all around my little turtle. I'm not gonna color the whole thing in, but I want my turtle to kind of stand out. So I'm gonna go around the edge of my turtle with my marker here. If you don't have markers, you can use crayons or colored pencils, you know, whatever you have to work with, it'll be fine. I'm just using a marker because, well, that's what I have right next to my desk. And also the markers show it better on camera, so that's why I'm using them today. And it's okay if you don't stay inside your lines, or if you need to turn your paper to color. Sometimes Miss Ottenreith needs to turn the paper to color. Remember, you do not have to use a marker. You use whatever you have on hand. Now, if you're coloring or drawing on computer paper, like I'm just drawing on thin white computer paper, I wouldn't recommend painting this because you don't have thicker paper, which if you remember from Miss Ottenreith's classroom, she has really nice paper that's good to paint on. You might not have that at home. So if you're only using regular paper, I wouldn't recommend painting this in, because I know it sounds like fun. Like I thought about it too. And I'm like, you know, painting would really be nice for this, but we don't have the right kind of paper. And using the right kind of supplies is really important when it comes to art. So if you don't have the right supplies, it's harder to do our projects sometimes. So that's why I'm recommending use a marker or colored pencils or crayons, whatever you have. But I have markers because, like I said before, they show up better on camera. So you can color in more around your turtle if you want to. I'm just highlighting that portion. So now my turtle stands out really well because I've used contrast by coloring in some of my shapes. And then I took a color and I went around the outside edge of it to make it stand out more. And that is the end of our lesson, friends.